Chapter 9, Building the Course Foundation, Outcomes, Syllabus, and Course Outline. The critical importance of learning outcomes. Learning outcomes guarantee students that an online course will be as comprehensive and rigorous as the same on-site course. They provide a clear path or set of rules to creating the online course. The online syllabus. The syllabus is a key organizing document of a course. It provides course requirements, the evaluation process, contact information, scheduling, and school policies. This should be comprehensive and clear. Students should be able to determine the teacher's expectation for performance. Special characteristics of an online syllabus. One is the communication strategy. This should be a description of how and when students can contact you. Also, post when you will reply to emails and phone messages. 2 is the course timeframe and format. Explain the course timeframe and format to all students. Due date time should be expressed with a specific time zone, and post the start and ending time of the course. Number 3 is guidelines for class participation. Students should participate 2 to 3 times per week. You should include requirements for participation in the syllabus and include a rubric for grading participation. 4 is technical requirements and support. Address how students can get help with technical issues. Encourage them to explore the site, and encourage students to attend online orientation about the school's LMS system. The course outline. It includes events, assignments, readings, and course deliverables. Syllabus components includes basic course information, course time and format, course time frame, course description, learning outcomes, communication strategies, department and academic advertisements, technical requirements, course requirements, links to instructional academic policy, and a course outline. Using the course outline as the framework for your online course. 1. Start with learning outcomes. Every unit of study will have a learning outcome. 2. Work backwards to plan assessments. Build on students' skills to help them acquire knowledge. 3. Use the assessment to measure student knowledge. Present the content for student success. Groundwork for lessons. Units and lessons are organizing structures. The meat of the course is in the sections and headings of the chunk within each lesson. They provide introduction and summaries at the begin and end of each unit. The summary of standards. Learning outcomes are measurable and specific. The wording used for learning outcomes is clear and definite. Course material is related to learning outcomes. Resources and activities support learning outcomes. Assessments determine the level of mastery of learning outcomes. Grading criteria is clearly stated for each assignment or assignment type. All graded assignments are listed in the syllabus from the beginning. The method for submitting assignments is clearly stated. The syllabus contains contact information, a course outline, requirements, and guidelines are available from the start of the course. Instructions are simple, clear, and logical. Consequences for late assignments and lack of participation is clearly stated and fair. Content is presented in a logical manner. Learning outcomes are measurable and specific. The size of the due date for graded assignments are reasonable. And lastly, students can easily track their progress. Chapter 10. Structuring the course content, the online presentation. What replaces an on-site class session? To make learning productive or active, develop a variety of activities that allow students to interact with each other, the instructor, and the content. Rework materials that are presented. Incorporate varied media, such as audio-video lectures, text image-based slideshows, and written narratives. Change the presenters of information. Alternate student or other voices with your own. Use a mixture of activity types. And lastly, provide frequent opportunities for reflection and assessment. Presentations should include examples, models, case studies, and illustrations for clarification. Topics and materials are up to date and relevant, and activities should engage students in higher level thinking skills, including critical and creative thinking, analysis, and problem solving. The first lesson: collaborative technologies and activities lead to active interactions that involved course content and personal communication. How to present and work through new knowledge and skills online. When designing a lesson, begin with the learning outcomes for the week, which are measurable, and the content should be centered around these outcomes. Breaking up material into chunks are subtopics. The area where teachers present new material in the LMS is still sometimes called a lecture. Posting long lecture notes or a long video of a lecture online is not the most effective way to present new material. Online content must be broken up. This is often referred to as chunking. Chunking means breaking down presentations into a series of mini presentations. The use of text and images. Use a variety of different text-based segments, activities, short readings, text-based supplementary materials from the internet, and reflective self-assessments. Mini lectures should be varied in design and presentation. However, variety for the sake of variety can distract and detract learners. A later lesson: introducing or reinforcing new knowledge. Language analysis. Lesson 7, Section 2, Scott Thornberry. Presentations may either introduce or reinforce the new knowledge. Skill-based lessons should be broken down into subtopics and multiple sections. Reflection. Go through Scott Thornberry's lesson twice. Imagine that you are the student. Do not read the questions that appear in between and box sections of the lesson. Think about these instead. Was the writing clear? Were the pictures helpful? Were the things you were asked to do helpful? Imagine if this were all text with no visuals and no task activities. What would that have been like? Read the questions posed between the sections. These will help you analyze the model as a teacher. Figures 10.5 through 10.12 show different parts of the lesson. This lesson demonstrates the learning outcomes clearly described. A later lesson: introducing or reinforcing new knowledge. Language analysis. Lesson 7, Section 2, Scott Thornberry. Presentations may either be introduced or reinforce the new knowledge. Skill-based lessons should be broken into subtopics or multiple sections. Reflection. Go through Scott's lessons twice. Imagine that you were the student. Do not read the questions that appear in between the box sections of the lesson. Think about these instead. Was the writing clear? Were the pictures helpful? Were the things you were asked to do helpful? Imagine if this were all text with no visuals and no tasks or activities. What would that have been like? Read the questions posed between the sections. These will help you analyze the module as a teacher. Refer to figures 10.5 through 10.12 in the book. These show different parts of the given lesson. This lesson has learning outcomes that were clearly described, the purpose of the lesson. Scott has broken up or chunked the lesson into a series of sections designed to keep the students moving forward step by step and engaged. Course narrative is brief, the tone is casual, and the image provided in the text breaks up the space and provides white space. Reflection. Authors suggest comparing the work of the three presented teachers against the checklist of standards at the end of this chapter. Do it yourself. Segments in the lesson include outcomes, introduction, a number of activities, and lastly a summary. You first want to decide how many sections you need to cover for this lesson topic. Then write the learning outcomes. Write the introduction. Analyze the chunk content. Review the material and enhance it with images, charts, and graphs that are appropriate. Activity ideas include practice exercises, discussion boards, tasks, assigned reading with guidelines, assigned research-based student presentation segments, self-assessments and reflective activities, guest speakers, experience from the field, assigned reports on real-life research, brief audio or video clips, and student presentations are individual and even group presentations. Teachers new to online teaching should focus on a limited set of techniques for the first class. This can enhance and adjust the course as you reteach it. Summary and standards. This is the end of the course design process. Once the course has gone live, focus switches to activities such as announcements, the online discussions, providing feedback, structuring group activities, asking students for feedback, and regular communication. See book website for teaching resources. And lastly, on page 181, they provide a list of standards that were addressed in this chapter. Thank you very much for listening.